Hey, everybody, listen. Remember convict? Remember convict music, you know what I'm saying? When he say, uncooked, yes, sir, chicken. What? And you know that's my cast. I see you laughing and smiling all in your car. I see you giggling at this chicken, even at your job. This funny's for you. Just follow the show. This funny's for you. Ha, you already know. Oh, yeah, riding down the street trying to get a laugh. I gotta find a new podcast. I got the nizzle for shizzle that's on the rizzle. Hey, yo, how about that funny bro, NateNathaNathaniel? Take a pic of this. What a flick go do. You love the chicken, well, the chicken love you. You know what I'm saying? You know Akon be singing stuff like that? You know Akon, what he say? He say, you know my pedigree. Uncooked chicken's my comedy. Oh, I'm improving like it ain't really nothing, and you know this chicken thing's for you. Come on now, yes sir. I see you laughing and smiling all in your car. Come on now. I see you giggling at this chicken, even at your job. Listen now, that's funny's for you. Yeah, man, listen. Hey, thanks, Akon. I don't know where you been, but I say thank you. It's the comedic Adventures of Uncooked Chicken. What? Adventures of Uncooked Chicken? It's a commuter grind. It's what's on my mind. Comedic Adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Comedic Adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Yeah. Comedic Adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Ain't no need to edit. Hell yeah, I said it. It's the Adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Listen, you can't have a chicken if you don't have a... Hey, man. Woo, listen here, America, thank you. I appreciate you following the chicken. Yes, sir, this is the 19th episode of Uncooked Chicken. Let me tell you something. I woke up this morning. Yes, sir, I woke up this morning, and I looked at the app, and the app said you have 500 downloads. What? 500 downloads? I want to thank everybody for the 500 downloads you gave me. Listen, this is audio. Audio is harder. Audio is harder to get people to listen to you because they don't see your face. You know what I mean? You got to be a real good storyteller for someone to listen to you and they get the jokes and because they can see it in their head. So that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? This ain't 1908. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the first radio cast. This is what I feel like sometimes. There's people say you need to put that chicken on the, I want to see your chicken face. That's what they say. I want to see your chicken face. One day you will. Stop it. One day I'll give you this comedy. I'll give it to you. You see the face as well as the voices. It's going to be amazing. You're going to love it. But what is Uncooked Chicken? That's how you say, well, what is Uncooked Chicken? I never heard of Uncooked Chicken. Uncooked Chicken is my commuter cast. You know what I mean? When I'm going to my hustle. And on my way to my hustle, I maximize my time. And I give you some comedy that I'm working on because I'm trying to be the creative comedian that you never heard of 2025. Stop it. Yes, sir, we going on to a new year. Yes, we do. Now, Uncooked Chicken, I give you 3 F topics. 3 F topics, you know what I'm saying? The first one is the funny that I'm working on, you know what I'm saying? I'm spitballing, I'm coming up with this comedic material and everything. And the second F topic is the familiar that's going on in the world. We're going to do something new with this one. We're going to call it a new segment. We're going to call it Free That Chicken or Fry That Chicken, yes sir. You know what I'm saying? And the last F topic is for real though or fake news. I'll give you a story or something that happened to me or maybe it didn't happen to me, and you got to decide if I'm telling the truth or I'm not. Yes, sir. Anyway, listen, we about to start a new year. We about to start a new year, and I'm working on some comedy. So the funny that I'm working on right now, listen, funny I'm working on right now, you know how people we got different driving styles. You know what I'm saying? You know, you got millennial styles, and you got Gen X style and Gen Z styles and boomer styles. You know, you ever notice how boomers, I call them white hairs. You know, the white hairs. You know, after 80 years old, listen, you probably shouldn't even drive no more. We should make that a new law. You know what I Why you gotta drive? You know what I'm saying? I don't see Trump driving around. You know what I mean? Why we gotta drive? I think, you ever notice how boomers, when they drive, their hands are 10 and 2? You know, when you go to driver's ed, well, when you used to go to driver's ed, they say you put 10 and 2 on the wheel. You know, if you ever driving next to a boomer, just take a look at them. They ain't gonna look at you because they always focus. They are like, you know, they are sniper focused, and they got they 10 and 2 on the steering wheel, and they're gripping it real hard. And like the blood runs out of their hands. You ever notice that? And they just straight ahead. They don't look around, no peripheral vision. You know, I'm like, damn. And they drive slow as hell. Slow, slow, slow. I'm like, come on, Grandma, come on. I got to go to my hustle. You need to mash the gas. You know what I'm saying? They just, and I wonder, cause you know, I wonder when they used to drive the Model Ts. You know, Model Ts, when they first came out, you know, the boomers probably had to drive the Model Ts, so they had to keep their hands on the wheel like that, 10 and 2. You know, they didn't have no seat belts back then. You know, you hit a bump in the road, that wooden tire break, you flying off. Listen, the only thing gonna save you is holding on to that steering wheel. You know what I'm saying? So I get it. Them boomers have to hold on to the steering wheel. And I know some of these people are like, that ain't right. The boomers, they didn't even drive Model Ts. That was the silent generation before them. Listen, I understand that, but you understand the silent generation, have you heard from them lately? You know why? Because they're all dead. Listen, that's why they silent. So we gonna mess with the boomers right now. Stop it. Now listen. Like, then us, like, you know, the Generation X's, you know what I mean, or X-Gens. Now we drive with one hand. I usually have one hand on the wheel. You know what I mean? I gotta lean to the side a little bit. You know, just leaning to the side, one hand on the wheel. That's how I roll. That's how I get down when NateNathaNathaniel drives. Yes, sir. You know, and then the millennials, you know, when they drive, you know, they driving with their knees on the wheel. You know, because they always like multitasking. You know what I'm saying? Millennials, like they got spreadsheets they gotta work on. They send the text messages. You know what I'm saying? They doing their hair. They're doing their makeup. They got their knees on the wheel. That's what they do. That's what millennials do. Knees on the wheel. You know what I'm saying? And then you got the Gen Zs. Now the Gen Zs. Now listen, Gen Zs barely drive at all. Usually, you know what I'm saying? And then you got the last one. What they call them? The alphas. Now the alphas, how they drive with Uber. You know what I mean? They drive with Uber and they drive with Lyft. You know what I'm saying? They won't even be driving. Listen, Gen Z is gonna be the last of us. You know what I mean? They're gonna be the last of us to ever have a driver's license. Cause the next generation, these alphas, will have autonomous cars by the end. They ain't gonna know how to drive. The last generation to be able to drive is gonna be the Gen Zs. Yes, sir. Listen. Anyway, that's my little morning rant. But it ain't even the funny I'm working on. Listen, the funny I'm working on. Listen, man. Is when people tell you things, you should listen. You know, and man, sometimes I'm bad at listening to the details. You know what I mean? You know, my wife told me, she said, hey, baby. I said, yeah, baby, what's going on? She said, you know, we're getting a little boring. I said, what? She said, we need to spice up our relationships. I said, excuse me? You know, listen, I'm NateNathaNathaniel. I'm the most creative comedian you never heard of. Someone tell me I ain't creative? Woo-hoo, you done got my attention. You know what I'm saying? You done got my attention. She said, we need to spice things up. I'm like, what? We need to spice it up on chicken, bow, wow. Listen, I've been married for 30 years, man. Let me tell you something. I thought it's like Monopoly. I'm saying my relationship, listen, is like Monopoly. Listen, we both pass go. Let me tell you something. We both pass go. We both collect our money at the end. Let me tell you something. Yes, sir, we do. Yes, boy. But you know, she said we need to spice things up. I'm like, hey, baby, maybe I need to eat a jalapeno or something. Maybe you need some jalapenos in your life or something. I'm saying we spicy already. She said no. We not. So listen, when people tell you things, you have to listen. So I said, okay, if she wants some more spice in her life, okay, I see you. So you know what I decided to do, NateNathaNathaniel, listen. I decided to listen to her. She said she wants spice in her life. You know what I mean? So I said, okay, what's gonna do? So I decided when she's driving with me in the car, she's sitting co-pilot, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start taking ill-advised left-hand turns. Yes, sir. Against oncoming traffic. Yeah. She wants some spice in her life. Listen, I'm going to listen to her. So, next time we was at the intersection, and I was tilting my head to the left, and I had a car right in front of me, and I couldn't really see. Cars were passing and I couldn't really see, and I'm tilting my head, and I said, well, screw it, and I just turned the wheel, and I just cunned it, you know what I'm saying? Just cunned it, and listen, we almost got clipped. Oh yeah, we almost got clipped, man, I'm telling you. And then I looked at my wife, and I didn't know that white people could get whiter, you know what I mean? She had her mouth open, and then it was like a 10-second delay. Like nothing came out of her mouth until 10 seconds. And then all I heard was, you almost killed this. You almost killed. What are you doing? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? I said, hey, baby, listen, hold it. I said, calm it down. I said, baby, calm it down. I said, listen, is your heart rate up? She said, my heart rate is up. Look at my Apple Watch. Look at it. It's in the red. I said, baby, listen. Your heart rate's up. You survived, right? I said, listen, you wanted me to spice things up. Listen, ain't that spicy for you, baby? I said, ain't that spicy for you? She said, that's not what I'm talking about. I said, hey, baby, listen, we got you there, didn't we? I said, did you tinkle a little bit? Let me tell you something. Listen, when people tell you something, you gotta listen. Man, I may not pay attention to the details, but you gotta listen. My wife asked me, she said, hey, baby. She said, what color are my eyes? I said, shit, I don't know. I really didn't. So I'm like, I just went with like, you think of white people, you think of blue eyes, right? So I'm like, hey, they blue. She said, no, they not blue. I was like, damn. And then I had to Google it, and I said, okay, shit, it looks like only 27% of white people have blue eyes. I said, that's crazy. Cause when you think of white people, you think of blue eyes. I thought I was in the ballpark. You know what I'm saying? I said, are they yellow? She said, no, they're not yellow either. I said, do they turn yellow in the sun? She said, no, they don't turn yellow in the sun. I said, shit. What color are they? She said, they're green. I said, oh shit. I said, my bad. Then I had to Google that too. And it said that only like, what did it say? For green eyes, only 9% of white America had green eyes. I said, look at that. That's crazy, right? I didn't know she had green eyes. But I said, baby, no, let's not focus. Let's not focus on the cup half empty, because I know you got two eyes. You know what I'm saying? I know you got two eyes. I look at them every day. You know what I'm saying? Let's not focus on the details. Let's focus on what I do know. The cup is half full. You got two eyes. I said, and if you listen, you can ask me how many teeth you got. I don't know if you got 32, but listen, you got enough to have a pretty smile. I said, hey, I got you, baby. I said, I got you. So when they listen, now I know, you know what I'm saying? She told me what her color her eyes is, and now I know. So I'm trying to be a good listener. That's in 2025. That's my, listen, everybody got resolutions? That's my resolution, to be a better listener. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, my wife, we spiced things up a little bit, and I said I'm gonna spice it up some more. Cause you listen, she said spice. You know, she ain't gonna get just half the enchilada. I'm gonna give her the whole enchilada. Yes, she wants spice. So next time we were driving on the freeway, let me tell you something. We were driving on the freeway, and I decided she was sitting co-pilot again. She was co-pilot. Listen, every time my wife in the car with me, let me tell you something, NateNathaNathaniel. And my wife in the car with me, it's hard for me to make a right-hand turn. You know what I'm saying? It's hard because she thinks she driving, you know. So we come to a stop sign or something. I'm trying to make a right-hand turn, you know, and she all up in the mirror. I can't even see. I'm like, shit, I can't. Can you sit back a little bit? You know what I'm saying? I need to scoot her seat back so I can see through that little rear view. I can't even see through the side mirror. It's like she driving the car, you know what I mean? And she put her hands out, you know what I mean, straight. She got her hands out straight like she a boomer, you know, 10 and 2. And she playing like she got a steering wheel. I don't know what's going on. If a hard brake, she put her hands on the, you know, she put her hands on the glove box, you know what I mean? Like she trying to protect herself from the airbag. That only happened one time. I don't know why she judging me. One time I ain't got no case. Stop it. You know what I mean? Anyway, listen. We driving on the freeway. She say she want to spice things up. We driving on the freeway. Okay. So then I decided, I said, listen, I'm going to go millennial. I'm going to go millennial on this mug. So I decided, I said, you know what I'm going to do, baby? I took my hands off the steering wheel. I took my one hand, because listen, Gen X, I had a one hand on the steering wheel. I took it off, and I put my knees on my steering wheel. I went millennial. Yeah, millennial style. Like this spice, don't you, baby? Yes, sir. Millennial style. Put my knees on the wheel. You know what I mean? And I'm just driving down the freeway. She said, what are you doing, NateNathaNathaniel? What are you doing? I said, baby, listen. I'm just driving down the freeway with you. She said, where your hands at? I said, my hands are going to rub you right here, baby. I'm going to rub you right here. I'm going to rub your shoulder. I'm going to give you a little love tap. She said, get your hands off me. Get your hand off me. I said, baby, I'm giving you some spice. She said, put your hand on the wheel. Put your hand on the wheel. I said, listen, baby, you want the spice? I said, listen, I'm giving you spice. And then I said, hey, baby, I need to send a text message. She said, I'll send it for you. I said, no, I'm good. I'm going to send a text message. She said, you better talk. You better be talk texting. I said, hell no. I said, hell to the no. I'm going to be texting. I said, I'm going to spell every letter, too. I'm going to spell every letter. I'm going to spell, listen. And she was upset. He was upset. I said, babe, what you scared of? She said, I'm scared we're going to die. I said, babe, are you Christian? I said, are you Christian? She said, you know I am. You knows I am. I said, baby, we're going to let Jesus take the wheel. Yes, sir. We're going to let Jesus take the wheel. She said, don't you tempt the Lord. I said, I'm not tempting him. I believe, honey, I believe he gonna save us. You know what I'm saying? Listen, when people tell you something, you got to pay attention to the details. Now, I bet she never tell me she want to spice up their relationship again, because I gave her some spice. Yes, sir. I got a heart rate real high. Yes, I did. So that's the funny I'm working on, man. That's my funny. Gonna spice up my relationship. Make some ill-advised left hand turn. All right, anyway. The familiar that's going on in the world today, listen, guys, familiar is going on in the world today. I'm gonna call this segment Free That Chicken or Fry That Chicken. You know, 2024 gave us a lot. We got a lot this year, yes, sir. You know, we had the hush money trial. You know, with Stormy Daniels and everything, and he had Donald Trump, you know, and Donald Trump, man almost got assassinated. They tried to assassinate him twice. You know what I'm saying? Tried to assassinate him twice, and he survived that. You know, he didn't go to prison for Stormy Daniels. You know what I'm saying? And listen, and America decided they wanted to paint the states red, and listen, he's gonna be president. Yes, sir. Listen, we tried. Listen, everybody tried to fry that chicken. But America has decided that Donald Trump, we're going to free that chicken. Yes, free that chicken. So, yeah, he going to be the free chicken. You know, he hanging around with Elon Musk, you know what I'm saying? He hanging around and chicken in a Tesla. I don't know, something going on. We're going to see what happens. He a free-range chicken now. Listen, he going to be president for a year. Listen, free-range chicken. We don't know what that chicken going to do. We're going to find out. We're going to find out what that chicken going to do. Yes, sir. Anyway, going to free that chicken. Yes, and then Joe Biden, listen, Joe Biden, you know, we're going to have to pray for Joe Biden, you know. We love Joe. You know, he just ain't nobody in there. You know, ain't nobody in there. Just feel bad for Joe. Just give Joe a plush toy or something, a pillow. You know, he pardoned everybody. Anybody, everybody, he pardoned. He can't remember yesterday. We don't want to fry that chicken. Just free that chicken. Just free Joe. Let's free him. You know what I'm saying? Free that chicken. Yeah, let's do that, baby. Now listen, you got that one dude, that Luigi, you know, the plumber. That plumber who decided to, you know, to kill some dude, some CEO of the health company. You know what I'm saying? He decided to take him out. You know what I'm saying? In America, they get in love with him. You know what I'm saying? They like, free Luigi, free that chicken. Everybody's saying that and everything. I'm like, what's going on, America? You know, white people love him because he kind of white. You know what I'm saying? Black people, they like him. Why? Because he ain't white. You know, minorities like him because he's like us. You know what I'm saying? You know, educators like him because he got a degree. You know what I'm saying? Gay people like him because possibly, you know what I'm saying? It's a high chance he might just be, you know what I'm saying? Ugly people don't like him. Why? Because he ain't ugly. You know what I'm saying? Whoo, that's too far. That's too far. But people, America, we crazy. America, we like, hey, we want to free that chicken. No, you need to fry that chicken. That chicken need to fry, in due process. But others, you need to fry. And this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? And then you got Puff Daddy. Listen, you got Puff Daddy and all the people who used to hang out with him with baby oil and stop it. What? We gonna free that chicken? Or we gonna fry that chicken? Well, the court case, if we get to a court case, you know what I'm saying, in May or something like that, 2025, we gonna find out what we gonna do. But I think we might have to fry that chicken. You know what I'm saying? What's going on? Listen, let me tell you something. I was reading the news. You don't watch the news, but I was reading the news, you know what I'm saying? And they said that there was a dude, listen, there was a guy, stop it. There was a guy who he met an underage girl. Listen, he met an underage girl on, online. You know what I'm saying? And then he took the girl to his house. Stop it. And he had relations with her, right? And then she revealed to him that, hey, listen, I'm underage. What? So then, let me tell you what he did. He said, oh boy. So then he drove her to the woods. This is in Louisiana. Stop it. He drove her to the woods and, listen, he dropped off in the woods. He pitched her a tent. Stop it. He gave her some bottled water. He gave her some survival things. And then he left and went to his family Christmas party. Listen, America, you can't make this up. Listen. And then, did he get caught? Hell to the yeah, he did. Hell yeah, he got caught. You know what I'm saying? And you know he gonna go to jail. Listen, and you say, should we free that chicken or fry that chicken? Because he had compassion. He found out that she was a young underage and he pitched her a tent and gave her some water. Yeah, that's nice, but let me tell you something. Listen, man, you committed adultery. You know what I'm saying? Last time I checked, let me tell you something. Last time I checked, that was a sin. Yes, sir. Last time. So listen, I'm gonna say you gotta fry that chicken. You gotta fry that chicken. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yeah, man. So listen, the last F topic we're gonna talk about today in 2025 is for real though or fake news. You know what I mean? Now listen. The first time I did a comedy show. What? Stop. First time I did a comedy show, I was so excited. My family came, my wife and daughter, and my peeps. Listen, they were there. Listen, I did my joke, you know what I mean? And I come home and I'm so excited. First time ever. And I came home and I was excited. And then my daughter, she was sitting there. She came over that day. She was sitting there. She was looking at me, for real, no fake news. And she said, Daddy. I said, yeah, baby. Wasn't it a great time tonight? I had some things I need to work on. She said, we need to have a conversation. I said, what? We need a conversation. You gonna tell me how funny I was and everything? She said, I am really disgusted with the language that you use. I said, what? Now listen, NateNathaNathaniel, for real though, or fake news, I have raised my kids. Listen, I raised my kids in a Christian. Listen, they raised them in a Christian family. They in a Christian family, you know what I'm saying? We didn't use profanity in the household. For real though, fake news. They haven't heard daddy curse before. You know what I'm saying? So when she went to the comedy club, I'm like, hey, when in Rome, you know what I'm saying? When in Rome, you know I'm a gladiator. I'm trying to entertain people. When in Rome, I speak like a Roman. Stop it. She said, no, Daddy, that is not right. I was very disappointed in you. I cannot believe you dropped the 2 B-bombs. I said, for real though, fake news, listen. I said, baby, I'm sorry. I said, listen, I ain't gonna never, for real though, fake news. I said, I'll never drop them 2 B-bombs in front of you I'll never invite you to my show again. She said, I cannot believe that you said breast. And I cannot believe that you said balls. I said, oh my God, that's on me. That's on me, America. I have listened. I secluded them. They didn't know. I should have exposed her to listen. I should have let her know about people use language like that in America. You know, I'm sorry about that, honey. That's on me. Now that for real though, listen, that fake news that I dropped the 2 B-bombs, breast and balls in front of my daughter. She had her talking to me. For real though, fake news. Did that really happen? Or is that just listen, that fake news? I don't know. We're gonna find out in the next episode in 2025. Now listen. The last for real though of fake news that I did we said that 911 needed some help. You know, like old school Flavor Flav Public Enemy. 911's a joke or something. So I gave him a joke. I called him up, right? And I said, hey, jingle bells, right? Batman smells, what? Robin laid an egg, stop it. The Batmobile, he lost his wheel, what? And ran over to choke his leg. Hey, did I really do that? Did I really call 911 and give him a joke? Listen, that was, for la 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 real, for real though. Yes, I did do it. Yeah, I did. Yeah, baby. Had to listen. I want to listen. They said share. They said if you love, share. So I was sharing. Yes, I was. Yes, indeed. Listen. I'd like to thank all you guys, listen, who participated, who've been a part of this Uncooked Chicken journey for 6 months so far. Six months so far. Now we're going into a new year. Yes, 2025. It's going to be great. Baby, yes, sir. Just make sure when you do a resolution, don't do something so crazy that you can't, don't bite too much of that. Listen, don't try to eat an elephant in one day. You know what I'm saying? Don't try to do it. Take little chunks, little bites. Don't try to use 150 pounds in a month. You know what I mean? You're crowding up my gym. You know what I'm saying? Listen, try to do 2 pounds a month. Start off small, something like that. Anyway, that's my CSH. Oh, sorry, that's my CSA. That's a chicken service announcement. But I want to thank everybody for joining me in this journey. You know what I mean? I got 500 downloads, baby. Listen, something must be going the right way. Something must be doing good. I'm going to keep it up. Keep doing it for you so I can be this creative comedian that you never heard of. Man, if I had $1,000 for every download, that's $500,000. What? Yes, sir, $500,000. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. Yes, sir. This comedy going to pay for things. Yes, sir. Anyway, I want to thank all y'all, everybody who downloaded this one and all the newcomers coming around. I want to thank you for joining me on this improv journey of the comedic adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Comedic adventures of Uncooked Chicken. It's a commuter grind. It's what's on my mind. Comedic adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Comedic adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Comedic adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Ha! Ain't no need to edit. Hell yeah, I said it. It's the adventures of Uncooked Chicken. Happy Chicken New Year. Happy Chicken New Year. That was it.